everyone. My name is Heather Taylor. If you do not know me by the last name Taylor, you probably know me by the last name Herring. I go by my mom's last names at shows because that is a side of my family that is interested in horses. And today I kind of want to do a educational video showing how to prep for a horse show. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, unfortunately, it is really not. The basics are pretty easy, but when you get to the hard stuff, like warming your horse up and practicing your horse, I find that a lot of people mess that part up, and it makes them look a fool at shows. Their horses blow barrels, their horses hit barrels. So I'm going to show you how I personally do it, how I prep the trailer, how I prep feed, every little thing that I have knowledge about, I will be showing you. Alright, so feed prep, very important. And a lot of people might not realize that, they show up, they just pour it in and they leave. But to me, feed prep is one of the most important things to plan. Because yes, they have hay all day. Yes, you might bring them out to graze a little bit on the lead rope. But for the most part, they're not getting a lot of that good nutrition, especially for people that don't have very good hay. And especially these cold months, because yes, it's starting to really warm up, but they still have that winter coat, so they need that extra nutrition, in my opinion. So with feed prep, some people just bring everything they need. They bring 40-pound bags, put it in the trailer, and they just feed prep it while they're there. They pour it right into the bucket from the 40-pound bag. That, to me, way too much work. It works. All the rich people do it. I ain't doing it. So some people do containers. I think the containers are the most useful because they're easier to reuse and you got them right there. I personally use Ziploc bags and I label them. So what I do is, it's probably going to mirror, oh wait, it'll mirror this way, but if I hold it backwards, it doesn't. So Rocket is the horse I am bringing to this show, so it has the R for the first letter of his name and D for dinner. If I'm bringing Stormy, then I would say SD for Stormy Dinner, Velvet, VD for Velvet Dinner, so on and so forth. And so it's a 3-day show, but I won't be there first thing in the morning. So on Friday, they'll get breakfast here, load him into the trailer. In the evening, after everything's done, he'll get dinner. As far as breakfast goes, RB, and I didn't wait so long, so it kind of bled, but Rocket breakfast, he'll get breakfast Saturday morning after being there all night, and breakfast is going to have a lot more than dinner, because at home, I only feed once a day. At shows, I feed twice a day, because they're working a lot harder than they would at home, and they're not able to move their legs around as much. So I feed them dinner at shows a little bit, not nearly as much as I do as breakfast. And you'll see that in just a second. Sunday breakfast, again, I'll be home before dinner time, so I don't give them dinner at all on Sundays, unless they're going to be there on Monday, which I have yet to do. So, and then dinner. So that's what I do for a 3-day show. The more days, the more Ziploc bags, the less days, the less Ziploc bags. 1-day shows, they don't get any food, they eat it at home. Starting with sunflower seeds, so I will briefly explain everything I feed and why, but this is not a nutritional video, so you can find more specifics elsewhere. So I feed sunflower seeds, yes, the ones in the bird section, for their coat. It makes them super shiny. It is also a really good weight gainer. So I will feed that for breakfast and dinner, 1.5 pounds roughly. Breakfast for sure 1.5 pounds. Dinner I might go a little bit less, just because I don't want them too overweight, and that is a weight gainer. So this is my cup. Pour right in there for all 4. So now all the sunflower seeds are poured into all 4 bags, and we'll get into the big heavy one, the important one, which is their actual grain. And I personally feed Nutrina Ole Stages Safe Choice. Safe Choice is in the name. It's got pretty much everything they need. I won't delve into specifics, but it's a great grain. That's what I'm feeding right now, and my horses look fantastic. So, again, it's a pelleted grain, 1.5 pounds for each, and that's the last thing that's going to be in the dinner. Everything else from here on out will be just in the breakfast because it is supplements. So next on the list, prepping for a show, we get into the supplements, as I previously stated. And the first supplement I always put in is called Cool Gut. It is a DAC product, so pure vitamins and minerals. And this is for gut issues because a lot of performance horses get upset stomachs from working so hard. An ulcer. It's an ulcer supplement. Rocket especially, but I give it to all of them because it's very common in performance horses. So I feed 3 scoops of it. I'll show you the size of the scoop. This is the size of the scoop. You do 3 of these, and it's a very small pellet. Smells really good. You'll get that in both breakfasts, not dinner. You only feed it once a day. The next supplement I feed is called Yucca 5-Way. It is also a DAC supplement. All of them are DAC supplements. Because I'm sponsored by DAC, so it just makes it, I get a discount. Yucca is for the joints, arthritis, people eat it too. This is in a powdered form. You just feed 1 scoop a day, so you'll get this in both both breakfasts. Yucca helps with a lot of things because there's other stuff in it, but it's mostly for the joints, hence why it's called Yucca. And I think working on their joints is very important. Because the harder you work, the more likely you are to get arthritis. So this is what this helps with. Up next is Bloom. A very good supplement. Again, feed 1 scoop of this. The rest of these will just be 1 scoop instead of 3 per day. The Bloom is for hoof, mane, making them shiny, and top line. Rocket doesn't need it, but I like to keep it on him. I spoil him. Up next is Electroid. It is an electrolyte supplement. Again, 1 for each breakfast. This helps with the muscles and makes them drink more. So I find it very important to give them any type of electrolyte supplement. I just prefer anything DAC, so that's why I feed Electroid. All of those supplements have the same size scoop except for vitamin E, which is a little tiny scoop because it is pure vitamin E, which most horses don't get enough of because it's not in Michigan soil so much. So I find it very important to feed them just pure vitamin E, again, from DAC. The vitamin E, again, helps with the muscles, keeping them nice, healthy, and Rocket has a lot of muscle issues, so it's very important that he gets this every single day. Last but not least, I spoil my horses. They gotta get some treats in breakfast and dinner for doing so good, and I'm sure they'll get a lot more at the show, but I'm gonna throw in some DAC treats in my Ziploc bags just to make sure he gets a little bit extra, because I'm just so insanely proud of him no matter what he pulls. Okay, so when it comes to prepping a trailer, the number 1 thing is make sure all your tack is there. Now, I'm not going to worry about things like this. That is my mom's. Let's just say don't touch my mom's stuff. So, as far as Rocket goes, he has his Back on Track pad liner, which this has technology in it to prevent back soreness. And this pad, which has a little bit of sawdust on it, is a Best Ever pad. This is really good quality, so I always use Best Ever. This is my tactical saddle, and I use a shoulder relief cinch. We have that to check off the list. I'm not going to recommend a tactical saddle. I'm actually saving up for a master saddle. We got my crystals on here. These are for good luck. And his bridle bag, which I will go on and check for you guys, but I already know everything's in there. We got our boots on the saddle for the horses. Yes, they wear boots. Breast collar in here. Hackamore. Reins, tie down, bridle. The only thing missing is the split reins, and I know where those are. Last but not least, I'm going to set my grain in here, even though it's a little bit crowded, but my mom will take care of everything she plans on taking out. The trailer isn't too dirty, but I think I'm going to at least clean out the dirty gunk, which I will do off camera. But the sawdust, I'm not going to dump another bag in. I'll just sweep all of this into the 1 stall, because I only have 1 horse going anyways, so I'll be more padded for him. I got to move this into here because I don't recommend, first of all, I don't even recommend on feeding on a raised surface. Only reason I did this the last time was because he didn't finish his food and I was going to make him finish it. As you can tell, he did not. But I always feed on the ground because it's more natural for their necks, so they're going to digest it better and their neck is going to be in better shape. But I do need to move this out of here so we can fit a hay bag. Again, I would rather feed the hay bag on the ground, but we don't need to get their legs caught. So when we get to the show, all hay will be on the ground. But I do need to prep a hay bag, which are over here, into here, which I will do in just a second. First things first, the checklist. All of my grooming stuff. There's probably 4.5 hay bales, muck bucket, water buckets, rake. Everything's checked off the checklist for this component. So, not completely clean, but clean enough for me. I might add a little bit more sawdust into here, because we are hauling almost 4 hours. It's on the line to Pennsylvania, kind of on the border of Ohio to Pennsylvania, from what I was told. We did get a hay bag here. It's not his favorite hay, but if he's hungry, he'll eat it. So at this point, you've seen feed. You've seen how I prep the trailer. Boring, right? Well, now I would like to show you how I do the actual riding, how I tack my horse up, how I warm my horse up, how I practice a pattern with my horse. Now today is actually Wednesday, but typically I'll start on Monday or Tuesday. Because Rocket was just at a 3-day show that was actually a clinic, we were riding a ton. So for this specific show, even though it's estimated to be over 300 entries, and it's probably one of our largest shows ever, I felt it was best to give him Monday, Tuesday off to rest his legs, and then we get back to practice. So normally, if I don't have a show at all, I'll do practice Monday through Wednesday, give Thursday off, leave Friday to the show. If I had a show the past weekend, I'll usually just give Monday off, and then Tuesday through Wednesday, give Thursday off. But he worked a lot, so I wanted to give him Monday, Tuesday off, and Wednesday and Thursday are going to be his practice days. And then I'll make sure to warm him up extra, give him plenty of breaks Friday before he actually runs. So I'm actually going to be starting on Stormy, just because he's a little bit easier for demonstration. He doesn't get super hot. I will be showing clips of Rocket's practice, just so you can see what he does, so you can compare it to his actual runs at the show, and we can compare and contrast. But as far as demonstration goes, Stormy is a lot easier because he's a lot more chill. Rocket's good at practicing, but he would much rather go 1,000,000 miles per hour. So yeah, follow me on my journey. So you're going to see a lot of stuff going on during this portion. Tacking up is very important. So you're going to see, I first start with brushing. Usually I'll be a little more thorough, but it's a warm day. I want to get done real quick. But I always make sure I keep my mane and tail nice and brushed out. Not everyone does, but I find it super important to keep them nice, clean, especially him being so white. It's called gray. Way too much. You got to keep it clean. So right here, you're going to see, after I pick the feet out, get all the dirt out, I actually start stretching his leg. And you can see he's got a little stiffness bringing it forward, but he's very good at bringing it towards the belly. But he fights me bringing it away from the belly just because there's a little bit of stiffness there. His back feet are not too bad. He's actually really good with the backs. Usually he was a little bit tight a few days before, but today he was very good. And you'll see he's nice and stretched out. Then he also uses a Best Ever pad, a very thick one, because he's so narrow built. And I have his Circle Y saddle with another shoulder relief cinch. And he's pretty easy to tack up. He stands good. I find it very important to take my time, make sure there's no muscle issues, since I am learning to be a massage therapist with horses, hence why I stretch their legs out. And here you'll see I put the bridle on, which, again, pretty easy for him, even though I was kind of acting a fool and it taken way too long. But I also had to adjust it quite a bit since I just had it on a training horse. But yeah, he did very good for the most part. He always is. Tacking is pretty simple. So, it is 3:55. I have just mounted Stormy and I will be walking until 4:05. The reason I walk for 10 minutes is because well, a lot of reasons, but the number one reason that I always tell people is the synovial fluid in their joints needs time to build up. So you have to walk for 10, preferably 15, but I'm a little too impatient for that, so I always go 10, and that's more than most people as it is. So that synovial fluid builds up and we prevent joint issues, muscle issues, things like that. We don't want any lactic acid building up. So, yep, Stormy, I know. So we always go for 10 minutes and then we'll go up to the next speed, which I won't say till it's time to do that because I know how my horses are. And then the next speed, which will not be for 10 minutes, those two other speeds, TROT and CANTER, he's vocal trained. The reason that I won't do those for 10 minutes is each because I'll really only go like 3 or 4 laps for those. Longer, if I'm not trying to burn too much energy, because we need to save that energy for the run. So I'll probably go more than 4 or 5 laps each at home, but at shows, no way. And it's roughly 4, 5, 6 laps each way at the trot and canter. Sometimes a little less if I'm in a hurry, because to me the trot and canter isn't as important, Stormy agrees, as the walk. Right away, the first thing I am going to do is, after setting up my camera, I remount, and you'll notice I use the barrel to do that. That is not because I cannot ground mount a little pony. I actually can ground mount pretty much any size besides draft. The reason I do this, especially with these short horses or big horses, really doesn't matter the height, is because when ground mounting from the ground, you're bringing all of their spine to one side so you can get your weight up there. So I always try to use a mounting block if I'm able to, just to keep the joints good in the back. So I don't know how easy it'll be to hear, but I'm keeping the audio on. This is the first drill I'm going to do, and I was hoping you could maybe hear some of my vocal cues. I kiss a lot with this specific horse, just because it helps keep his focus and keep him turning. And you'll notice, if you know the barrel pattern, that I'm actually doing the barrel pattern out of order. And this is just so you turn each barrel the same direction, and it just gets their body moving in the correct position, gets them kind of focusing, and it changes it up a bit. So you'll see right about here, I'm going to switch directions, and I had to go around that last one twice just because he was kind of fighting me. That's usually the one they fight you on because they want to run home after that middle barrel, closest to this camera. So here you'll see he kind of comes around pretty nice, so I let it slide, just not quite right. You'll see he tosses his head because he wants to run. And here, a little straight, but it's not the end of the world. I remember this one being a little bit iffy. Yep, see right there. He wants to run, and I'm like, no. So we go around again. I know we went around a couple times, and this is just because you want to get them listening to your cues. You want to get them not throwing their head and going around it nicely. I think I played it easy on him. I didn't get too picky with this one, just because I don't do this drill a ton. But we got it eventually. See right there, it was pretty okay. Not the best, but pretty okay. And I noticed my saddle was kind of slipping, and I wanted to make sure he was good. So this is the next drill. It is called a rating drill. I make up my own names for them, but this is pretty clearly the rating drill because we want them to slow down at each turn. We're just getting through off season. These drills are not perfect, but overall not bad. I was honestly pretty happy because he's really not the type of horse that needs a lot of rate work. So I was kind of just like, whatever you want to do. And you'll see I stop at every barrel. This teaches them to get their hind end underneath themselves so they slow down for that turn. Because if you're going full speed at a turn in a car, let's say, you're not going to take that turn well. That's why we want the speed limit to go down during turns. It's the same way with horses. They got to slow down a little bit so they can get these nice turns. Then you'll see I go to the rail. This just teaches them to finish off his third barrel better. So I'm going to tell you right now, my absolute favorite drill right here. I call this drill the double wrapping drill. Pretty self-explanatory. You go around each barrel twice. If it's still a little iffy, you can keep going around until it's perfect. My horses are pretty solid at this drill, and I'm not too picky. So like this one, I was very happy with. Just absolutely very subtle, very listening. Just perfect. This one could have been a little better, and you'll see he's just a little bit too tight, so it's making him come in a little wide. But like I said, I'm really not too picky, especially coming into this season. My third barrels are usually going to be the iffiest. I don't know what it is with my horses, but third barrel's a little bit tough on them. I just can't get them to keep their shoulder up how I want to. But he doesn't ever do bad at all. Now here's the big one. You're about to see me run a pattern. I'm going to tell you right now, do not do this every week for a practice. Just once in a while to get them moving. You'll see Stormy was very much ready for this, and we honestly got a very nice cruise through. I'm very happy with this. His turns were great. There's really not much to pick apart, except right here I could have slowed him down a little bit more with a two-hand check before that turn, just to get some more rate out of him. But overall, for this being his second barrel pattern in probably 2 or 3 months, I was very, very happy, and especially after doing all this rating work and drill work. If I wanted to take him to a show this weekend, I definitely could. And here's his signature head throwing because he wants to keep going. So next up, you're going to see Rocket's practice, and I ended up taking him off the property for this at the last second. This is my trainer's place, and I really wanted to make it there for a run. About halfway through the warm-up, I ended up switching saddles, and I actually accidentally ended up buying a saddle off of them. So this is my first run in a brand new to me saddle, and it was very good. But I did want to do one more, and I did some drill work with him, of course, too. I did want to go through one more pattern just to see where we're at. So you'll see me come in right about now. He's a little bit lazy, but we're feeling out a new saddle. But that first barrel had so much more shoulder room in it. So we did great. Second barrel, pretty good for him too. He usually does that same thing. So you'll see me come around again. It wasn't bad at all, but I just like to fix that kind of stuff. So right here, you're going to see an even better first barrel. I blame the new saddle, but we've also been working hard at fixing that and doing a lot of drill work, rating work. Second barrel, even tighter. Third barrel I need to fix up with both horses clearly, but honestly most people would see that and be like, oh, that's fine right there. But yeah, I tend to talk people's ear off, and I just wanted to add a little bit more about Rocket's cruise throughs because he was going too fast and I couldn't really say everything I wanted to say. So saddle fit with horses is very important, and I honestly did not intend to go there and buy a saddle, but earlier I mentioned that tacticals just really aren't my thing. They're a little bit too tight on the withers for my liking. They just don't fit properly. They don't last long at all being lightweight. So I hate to say it about the tactical because I love the maker, Fallon Taylor, but it just wasn't for me. And this saddle that I bought off my trainer is a Caldwell barrel saddle. It just fit like a glove. Rocket was much happier in it, and you can see it in his turns. He's not super stiff in his turns. And in our practices, we've been working a lot on that too. So you see him, he's turning a lot better. You didn't see a slow work, of course, but you saw him turning a lot better. And so this weekend is the show. Today is still Wednesday. I'm kind of going back and forth on where I want to haul to, but no matter what, I am determined to hit a show this weekend. And honestly, after Stormy's practice, I might end up just bringing him to and quickly prepping him for the show. I tend to do this with my horses. As far as prepping goes, however, so I don't get too long on a tangent about saddle fit and whatever else I end up getting a tangent on, that is essentially it as far as prep. I can delve into so many different things, and this could be a 10-hour video. I can take you on for the whole week. Again, 10-hour video. So I kind of want to limit this to like a half hour at the most. is why I'm kind of shortening this video down. And of course, you can already hear me kind of say, well, I want to tweak this, I want to tweak that, because that's usually what us barrel racers do. We like to tweak stuff, we like to see what works and what doesn't, and sometimes we bring a different horse than we plan to a show. And so this is kind of the end of my prep period. I will do the same exact thing tomorrow, which is Thursday, minus the running through the pattern. I will probably trot through the barrels. I don't want to show you guys the poles because I'm still perfecting my routine, so I don't want to recommend the wrong thing for pole bending. But I will probably practice poles tomorrow, but the same thing for barrels of trotting through those same exact drills, minus cruising through on both boys. And I will be adding a video of my actual run, which hopefully goes well. So here's the actual run. I decided to run somewhere a little more local, but still a nice show. And so here's Rocket coming in, and you'll see right about here he doesn't curve his body as much as I'd like, and it causes him to stumble over his front feet. But he's pretty good about making it up, so he keeps going, and second barrel is perfect. You can't get second barrel any better. Straightens up perfect. Third, I'd like to work on a little bit more. He pivots a little too much, but it's clean. He runs a 15.5, so that's all that matters.
Chase Beachy, David Kovacs, Julian Moore, and Heather.
Go!
Back to the time, 15.598, 15.598.
So I couldn't help myself, and I did bring Stormy. So he is coming in. First barrel, you can see I come in a bit too wide, and Stormy's good about making it up, but it made for a not so smooth turn, so you can see him kind of jump out of the way from hitting it. He does not like hitting barrels. Second barrel, I'd like to get a little more speed coming in, get him to curve his body a little bit more because he kind of swings out. But overall, really nice turn. Third barrel, I'd say was really good. I wish he wouldn't swing his hind end so much. That's something we've been working on. But the more I do that double wrapping drill, the better he'll get. And so he ran a 17 flat, which is a new personal best for him, just like Rocket. So I'm really happy. So, and he needs some more speed added. I just wanted to add that, but overall, for a little guy, not too bad at all.
15 through 21. Jana,
Yeah, good job.
Brianna, Audrey, Renee, Emily, Lily, and Bryn. And that will round out our day.
Go! Keep going! Go! Go!
That's a good time, 17.029, 17.0.
So overall, I'd say the show went really well. Practice. I know what I need to work on, but as far as the practices before that show, I'd say we're really good. I gotta work on getting Stormy's hind end from swinging, keeping his body more collected and in sync with one another, between his hind and his front end. Rocket, I need to work on keeping that shoulder up and getting his hind end underneath himself. But overall, really good. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me as I prep for a horse show. Thanks.